Intelligent repetitive listening. Let me ask you a very honest question. How many times have you listened to English and thought, I understand words, but I don't understand the message? Maybe you recognize sounds. Maybe you know vocabulary. But when a native speaker talks, everything seems to go too fast. If this happens to you, stay until the end of this video. Because today we are not going to talk about studying more. Today you are going to learn how to listen better. And that changes absolutely everything. Today you will discover why listening to many different audios does not work. Why repeating the same audio does work. And how to use a simple technique called intelligent repetitive listening. This technique is not new. Interpreters, polyglots, and modern teachers use it. But almost no one explains it well. Today, we will. Before we continue, something quick. If you are learning English, and you want to do it without stress, subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell. And write in the comments, I am learning how to listen. That helps me keep creating this type of long and deep content. Now yes, let's continue. The big mistake when learning English. Most people learn English like this. One video today. Another tomorrow. Another the day after tomorrow. Always something new. Always something different. And that seems logical. But for the brain, it is a mistake. The human brain does not learn through fast exposure. It learns through familiarity. When everything is new, the brain defends itself. It gets tired. It gets blocked. That's why after 10 minutes your head hurts. Or you feel like giving up. It's not a lack of ability. It's overload. This is where the key concept of this video comes in. Repetition. But be careful. Not just any repetition. Not repeating like a robot. Not repeating without attention. Intelligent repetition. Listening to the same audio several times. But each time with a different intention. This tells the brain. Relax, you already know this. And when the brain feels safe, it starts to understand. Not to translate. To understand. In the next part, we are going to see something very important. What happens in your brain when you listen to English? Why repetition creates neural connections? And why listening well is more important than speaking at the beginning. Don't leave, because this part completely changes your mindset. Before moving on, you need to understand something very important. Learning English is not an intellectual process. It is a neurological process. You don't learn English because you understand it with your head. You learn it because your brain starts to recognize patterns automatically. And that only happens through repeated listening. Every time you listen to English, your brain does three things at the same time. 1. Identifies sounds. 2. Tries to separate them into words. 3. Looks for meaning. When the audio is new, the brain works too hard. It doesn't find patterns. It gets tired quickly. That's why at the beginning English sounds like one long noise. It's not that they speak fast. It's that your brain still doesn't know where words begin and where they end. Principio del formulario. Why repetition reduces stress. When you listen to the same audio again, something changes. The brain says, this, I've heard before. Then, anxiety goes down. Attention increases. Understanding improves. The second time, you are no longer fighting the unknown. Now you are exploring. And this is where real learning begins. Neural connections. Every word you understand in English is a neural connection. The first time, it is weak. The second time, it gets stronger. The third time, it becomes faster. That is fluency. It is not talent. It is not extraordinary memory. It is repetition done right. Listening before speaking, key principle. Here comes something few teachers tell you. You do not need to speak well to understand well. But you need to understand well to speak well. All babies listen for months before saying their first word. The natural order is: listen, understand, speak. If you force the order, you get frustrated. The 3 listen process, step by step. Now that you understand how the brain learns and why repetition works, let's move to the most important part. How to listen correctly. Because repeating the wrong way can be as useless as not repeating at all. And this is where most people fail. First listen, understanding the general idea. This first listen is the most important one. And also the most misused. Here is a golden rule. Do not try to understand words. Do not pause the audio. Do not translate. Just do this. Ask yourself. What is the audio about? Is it a story, a conversation, an explanation? Is the message positive, negative, or neutral? That's it. This step tells the brain. There is no danger, just listen. And when the brain relaxes, it starts to learn. Common mistakes in the first listen. Many students do this. They get frustrated because they don't understand everything. They think, I'm not good at English. They give up. But here is something very important. Not understanding words does not mean you are not learning. It means that your brain is adjusting your ear. That adjustment is invisible, but real. Second listen, key phrases. Now yes. In the second listen, the audio is no longer new. Here your goal is to detect words that repeat. Hear complete phrases. Recognize simple structures. You don't need to write everything down. Just notice. This step builds real understanding, not translation. Third listen, sounds and pronunciation. This is where something very powerful happens. You start to notice how words connect. Which sounds disappear. The natural rhythm of English. Here the ear is trained. Here you stop listening. Word by word. And you start listening to complete ideas. Common mistakes plus how to apply the technique at home. Even though this technique is simple, many people don't get results. Because they make small, but constant mistakes. Let's fix them now. Mistake 1, wanting to understand everything. This is the number 1 mistake. Wanting to understand every word is like wanting to run before learning how to walk. The brain needs context, not perfection. Understanding 60% today is better than understanding 100%. And quitting tomorrow. Mistake 2, pausing the audio all the time. Pausing breaks the natural rhythm of the language. English is not understood in pieces. It is understood through flow. If you pause every 3 seconds, the brain doesn't connect ideas. Only fragments. Listen to it completely. Repeat later. Mistake 3, translating in your head. Translating seems to help. But it actually slows down fluency. The goal is not English-Spanish understanding. The goal is English direct understanding. Repetition allows this to happen naturally. Mistake 4, changing audios too quickly. Many people think, I've already listened to this audio, I'll move on to another one. But that's where the progress is. Real learning begins when the audio stops being new. How to use this technique at home, step by step. Now yes, something very practical. Choose short audios, 1 to 3 minutes. Use the same audio for several days. Apply the 3 listens. 15 to 20 minutes a day are enough. You don't need hours. You need conscious consistency. How you know it's working? You start to notice that. You recognize phrases without thinking. English sounds less fast. You get less tired when listening. That is real progress. Invisible. But cumulative. The right mindset plus final guided practice. Before we finish, I want you to take something very clear with you. Learning English is not a fast race. It is a process of accumulation. Many people quit right before. The brain makes the click. That moment when you say, I didn't translate it. I just understood it. That moment comes. When you listen well. And repeat with intention. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. Final reinforcement of the technique. Always remember this order. Listen without pressure. Repeat with intention. Let the brain do its job. Don't force fluency. Fluency appears when the ear is trained. And now, let's practice together. Intelligent repetitive listening in action. Pay attention to the instructions. First, you will listen to a paragraph in English. Then you will repeat it out loud. Do not translate yet. After that, you will hear the same message in Spanish. Breathe. Relax. Just listen. Paragraph in English, guided repetition. Listen and repeat. Learning English is not about being perfect. It is about listening again and again. Until understanding feels natural. Every time you listen with intention, your brain creates new connections. Same message in Spanish, comprehension. Now in Spanish.
Aprender inglés no se trata de ser perfecto. Se trata de escuchar una y otra vez. Hasta que entender se sienta natural. Cada vez que escuchas con intención, tu cerebro crea nuevas conexiones.
If you made it this far, you are already learning English the right way. If this video helped you, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. And write in the comments. Listening with intention. See you in the next episode. Keep listening. Keep repeating.